morning, Eagles fans. Culver 16U here in St. Louis at the Centene Community Ice Center. Beautiful arena. This is actually the home ice of Lindenwood University, and between the Culver 16U and 19U games, they're going to have a men's NC2A game. So beautiful ice. Here we go for a face-off against the first meeting of the season against the St. Louis Lady Blues. We start off with Buzinski. Culver trying to enter the offensive zone here. We get it in. And that gets taken away behind the net. St. Louis with the breakout on the right side. They dump it into the zone and go in for a line change. Pass goes wide and is going to go for icing. Face-off goes behind the Culver net. Battle on the boards. St. Louis with the puck. They tried to center, that gets deflected. Up and chips out of the zone. Fusoni in on the forecheck. Out with Bosser and Putnam. Swings back around to Fischler. At the point, she holds it in. Comes in and Fischler backhands it across to Furch. Furch steps in. Fusoni gets bodied in the corner and St. Louis tries to clear. Now they'll get it out. They misfire on the connection breakout. Putnam in. She pressures and Culver picks it back up. Fischler sends it over to the right wing. Putnam has it. She gets a shot in while the rest of her teammates change. Winding around and just poked off of the stick. I'm gonna have to figure out the numbers again here. Lai on the right side, she gets a puck in, shot wide right. Held in by Chandler. Chandler over to Wilson. Wilson to Sadiakov. Sadiakov with a good chance. Just misses up over the left shoulder. Good chance there. Nice passing to create that chance too. Chandler chips it off the boards. Sadiakov, good stick lift. Puck swings back over to Lai. Lai dumps it in and goes in for a line change. Bosser trying to pick up the puck through the zone. She comes across the center. She sends it in on the Blues goalie. Face off in the Blues zone. Comes out Culver with possession. They work it all on the right boards. Shot in on net. Rebound. Good crash. And the Blues cover. Good shot in on net by Lou from the right point. She's out there with Buzinski. Bosser takes the face off. Comes back to Lou again. Lou over to Harris. Harris gets that poked off and Buzinski picks it up behind the zone. She works D to Lou. Lou comes across to Adigo Zalzada. That's a little bit in the feet and comes back out to the Blues. Bosser, good pressure. She gets slashed and loses her stick briefly. Blues reverse back. They try and work it out, but they lose the puck behind the net. Harrison on the forecheck. Adi Zalzada, good intercept, and that gets held in at the point by Lou. Esmond in. Esmond pressures. Blues struggling to get it out. They work it across and they miss there, and Culver with possession, they dump it to the back corner. That comes up and dumped into the zone. That gets broken up. And Esmond gets the puck. She has a little bit of room. She tries to dump it in deep for Kearney. And Blues break out 2-on-2. They get at the top of the left circle. They try and make a move, and covered by Williams in net. And puck dangerously in front, but Fusoni gets a hand on it and clears it out. Fusoni with the puck on the left side. She's got space. She comes across the middle. Good hard shot. Hits Jingars. Bosser picks it up. She tries to retain possession. That gets poked out to the corner, and then the Blues, they come out with it. They bring it out and they go for a change. Fischler wheels from behind the net. She takes a look up, clears it up to the right side to Putnam. Putnam, ooh, almost a really nice reception by Fusoni there. And that gets driven back. Furch in, heavy pressure over to Putnam. Blues intercept in the corner. They center, save Williams. Puck gets picked up through the middle. Wilson dangles through. She pokes it. She still driving into the far corner. She drives it around to the side to Sadiakov, and Wilson again with a stick through the neutral zone. Good back check and stick. Wilson gets it over to Lai. Lai trying to pick that up. She regroups back to the D. The D go to each other, and Chandler gets that poked, and Seekins trying to clear. Seekins takes a body. Needs a little bit of help. Sadiakov comes to the center. Still battling behind the net. Blues, they work it up the right side, and they drop it down low. It's back to Seekins. Seekins tries to go opposite corner. Blues still with the puck. They dump it back in. No shots, but good possession around the perimeter for the Blues. And finally cleared. All right, there's the zoom, Sandra. Sorry, the camera's a little bit shaky. I do not have the right tripod attachment today, so going old school with the handheld. Blues dump it down low. Lou picks it up. She finds Harris. Harris with a little bit of room. Tries to go up to Adigos Alzada. Gets poked up. Good step in by Buzinski. And St. Louis picks it up. St. Louis clears that out. Harris gets possession. Tries to go in low again, and St. Louis picks it up. Weak shot on net. Buzinski. Back to Lou. Lou back to Buzinski. Over to Adigos Alzada. That gets held in at the blue line by St. Louis. Lou chips it up and out. This is going to go for icing. Face off to the right of Williams. Esmond spins, battles in the corner. Gets poked out and centered, but missed by the Blues. And Kearney comes in on the left side. She's got room. She shoots. On net, save Blues. Blues come in with only one loss on the season. I think they're, I want to say 5-1 or 6-1. Their only loss to Team Illinois, which is very strong this year, and only lost 2-0 to Team Illinois, so should be a good match for the weekend. Blues work it around the corners. They break out. They come up the right side. Dumped in. Chased down by Furch in the corner. Good body. And picked up by Frazier. Frazier tries to get that out. It does come out. Kearney pressuring, and good intercept by Bosser. Bosser's got some room. She's got some speed around the right side. Shot. Big rebound. No one home in the slot. And the Blues, they go for that long breakout. That looks like an icing. Good hard shot by Bosser from that right corner. She'll score some that way this year for sure. Bosser wins the faceoff with Fusoni. Fusoni to Seekins. Seekins back to Fusoni. Dumped in down low. Intercept, going for the wraparound. Good. Oh, big rebound. And the Blues clear. Nice idea. Putnam almost with that wrap. Putnam gets the puck. Chips it up and out. Fusoni in pursuit. Blues regroup. That comes in on net to Williams. Buzinski over to Fusoni. That misses, and Blues get the puck from the right corner. D, they cycle back to the point. They have to work it down low. No shot available. Messersmith working behind the net. And Putnam gets it up and out to tipped off Fusoni's stick. Both teams probably looking for a change now. One-on-one opportunity with St. Louis. St. Louis, they come across the middle. Fan on the shot, and that gets cleared out. Puck driven in down low. Blues try and center, that gets deflected. Messersmith working in the corner, back over to Seekins. Seekins looking for Wilson. Wilson gets tripped up. That goes in deep. No ice. Lyon on the forecheck. She ties up with the D, and the other D helps out for St. Louis. They turn it over at the blue line. Shot, rebound. Still held in, but now out. Battle on the boards, and that gets driven in by Lou. St. Louis with the puck. They work on breaking up. Good pinch here by Lou. Lou with some room. Shot. Good shot on net. Sticked aside by the Blues goalie. St. Louis with a little break here. Lou strong on the back check there. Good recovery, and that comes out to the center. Lou looking, scans, finds Adigo Zalzada. Good shoulder there, and Esmond picks up the puck in the corner. She's surrounded by three Blues, still working. And we're gonna get a tripping penalty. Just a little away from the puck, but got the stick into the skates, I guess. So that's going to be I think Adigo Zalzada going in for tripping. So first special teams of the day for either side, Blues power play. Culver sends out Esmond and Kearney. Whistle blown for poor alignment on the right side. Blues pick it up. They get into the bumper spot. Backhand save. They work into that bumper position, and the Blues player got off a backhand. Culver wins face-off. Furch gets it behind her own net. She looks to wind around, but gets bodied off. Blues with possession. They work around the left side. Good stick by Esmond to break that one up, and she's in on the forecheck. She gets opportunity. Shot. Oh, nice work. Esmond getting shoved around, but that's fine. Great intercept by Esmond, and then good stick work to poke that free, and she gets a good shot in on the Blues goalie. Face off again. Blues win possession in their own zone. They work it up through the neutral zone. And they are offsides. Same PK out right now. Furch and Fischler on the blue line. Fischler, good anticipation. She breaks up that clearing attempt in the neutral zone. Esmond gets the puck. She drives into the net. Straight to the net. Shot. Oh, that looked like it was in. And Blues goalie made a nice save there on Esmond, who drove hard to the net, cut across. And again, Fischler, with the anticipation, puts a stick in. Furch with the puck. She's got some room up the left side. She skates out and clears. Putnam and Bosser out on PK now. Adi goes Alzada out of the box, so we're now even strength. Blues pick up the puck. They have a little room at the top point. They cycle down low, or actually just work it down low. And Culver with the puck, clearing out the right side. This is not going to go for icing. Putnam in on the forecheck. Blues get caught on the left side. And another attempt by Putnam for the stuff. Culver dumps it in down deep. Messersmith intercepts. She's got some room on the right. She shoots. Blocker saved by the Blues goalie. And that gets cleared out. Chandler works it over to Fusoni. Fusoni loses a handle and regroups. Works it over to the right side. The Blues working, and Sadiakov gets a little bit of steam coming up through the neutral zone. Sadiakov dumps it down low. Sadiakov looking for someone in the middle. She finds one of the D. Shot, save, rebound. Fusoni takes an elbow, still going. Good intercept by Buzinski to hold that in, and now Blues pick it up. Blues work up the right side. They gain the zone entry. Culver trying to break out on the right. cluster of 5 players, and Lou comes out with it. Back over to Buzinski. Over to Wilson. Trying to work it around the left side. And that gets intercepted by Buzinski. Buzinski with some room. She gets bodied at the blue line. And that is the end of the first period. So 0-0. Pretty even game in terms of shots. 8 shots for Culver, 7 for St. Louis. Start of the second period. Bossart, Fusoni, Putnam out. Fischler and Furch. Puck swings back to Furch. Furch finds Putnam. Putnam crosses the line just off sides. Puck wins over to Culver. Bossart tries to drive that in. That gets picked off and sent back out into the neutral zone, and Fischler drives it down. Blues trying to work it out of the corner. That gets intercepted, and Furch with a shot on net and covered by the Blues goalie. Sadiakov in with Lai and Wilson on the wings. Fischler and Furch still out on D. That gets sent up and out and won't go deep enough for icing. Fischler, good retrieval. St. Louis with a chance here. That goes over the net. St. Louis still with the puck. It's worked over to the right corner, and that one is going to get out of the zone here. Furch with some room on the right side. She drives in. Shot. Rebound. And picked up by the Blues in front of the net. Blues goalie has been sharp today. Good position. Chandler works the puck up and out. Good clear. Lyon on the forecheck. Blues working around to the right side, and that gets pitched up and out. Wilson in pursuit. Ball in the neutral zone. Blues pick up. They have a 2-on-2. That gets blocked by Chandler. Good block. Lai with the puck. She gets a little bit of room. She sends it up to Esmond. Esmond working 1-on-2. She cuts across the middle, looking for some room to shoot. She still works it behind the net. She sends it up front. That gets deflected. Trying to find Kearney. Blues now work it up the left side, and they break out. Blues going 1-on-4. Shot on net. That gets sticked aside and still behind the net now. That gets worked around the left side and up and out by Esmond. Frazier in. Frazier with the pressure, and Blues, they work it around the left side. That gets stepped into and held up. Esmond almost with possession there, and Kearney pressures, and Blues now break up the right side. They send it over, and that gets broken up in the neutral zone. Seekins back over to Esmond. Esmond dumps it in for a line change. Buzinski misses there, but the Blues are offsides. Ooh. Fortunate offsides there, as the Blues would have had a 2-on-1 working into the zone. Both centers get tossed out, and Harris in for the faceoff. Blues win that faceoff. They dump it in deep. Sadiakov working, trying to get a 3-on-1, gets hooked a little bit, tries to send it over to Adigo Zazada, and that just misses across the slot. Sadiakov still trying to gain possession, and Blues work it out. Blues misfire on the dump in. Picked up now. Now still trying to work it in through the neutral zone. That gets dumped in. Oh, dangerous puck through the high slot. No one home for the Blues. Up to Fischler. Fischler works around the left side. She looks and brings it back. Now broken up, but possessed by Putnam. That comes up and out. Putnam with possession. Putnam drives around the left side, looking for Bossert. Oh, good sliding block by the Blues defenseman. Seekins in. She reverses back out, and the Blues break out. Just out of reach of the Blues, Messersmith has some speed. Messersmith working in across the zone and offside. Bossert takes the face off. Picked up by Adigo Zazada. Shot in wide left. Battle on the far boards in the neutral zone. Fusoni in pursuit. Fusoni bodies her. Opposition down. And back over to Putnam. Putnam with a little bit of room behind the net. She works it back to Fusoni. Up to Messersmith. Sadiakov at the point. Shot blocked. Putnam tries to get it in, and that gets blocked as well. Putnam again with the puck. Sends it across the middle, off a skate. Trickles in on the Blues goalie and covered. Sadiakov takes face off, wins it over to Fischler. Fischler dumps it in down low. Blues try and break it out. Furch holds in on the left point. She's surrounded, gets some help from Wilson. Picked up by Sadiakov. Sadiakov, nice move around, spins. Tries to find Wilson on the left. Wilson still drives around Lai, helping out behind the net. Wilson works it back behind. Wilson and Sadiakov working 2-on-3 on the boards. Now Blues, they do chip that up and out. Now it's a possible 2-on-1, but Blues get the puck into the corner. Blues over to the left point, pressure by Lai. Furch works it over to Fischler. Fischler backhands it up the boards. Blues step up and hold it in. Blues working in down low. And now Fischler settles in behind the net. She sends it up to Wilson. Or is that Wilson? That is Wilson. Wilson in on pursuit. The rest of her line changes. Blues working up the left side. They lose it at the blue line. Esmond powers through on the right side. Gets dropped, but Frazier picks up that rebound. She gets tripped up, and we're gonna have a Culver power play here. Good effort by Esmond, and Frazier created that penalty on the Blues. Culver gets their first power play of the day. They send out Fischler and Liu. Esmond, Lai, and Kearney. Culver wins the faceoff. Liu picks up the puck at the point, works it over to Lai. Lai on the left side, looks, sends in a shot, rebound in the front. Just hops over the stick of Lai in the slot. Lai works it back, tipped over to Liu. Liu back to Lai. Lai on the left side works it down low. Now looking for that low back door. Held in the corner. Retrieved in the corner, held up. Needs some help. Blues are going to clear here, and they dump it down low. So retrieved by Liu. Liu looks up. She spins back to regroup, looks for some breakout options. Works it over to Fischler. Fischler gains the zone. She drops it back to Esmond. Esmond sends it in off a skate. Bossert with the puck. She drives it in down low. Liu with the puck. Works it over to Wilson. Wilson shot. Rebound. And covered. Good shot opportunity there by Wilson. Like I said, the Blues goalie has been very positionally sound. Pretty square to the puck, and we're hitting her in the chest, so we need a little more puck movement to create some opportunities. Shot deflected out. End of the power play here. Even strength. Furch gets it, shot deflected up and over. Even strength. Shot by Kearney, that gets deflected, and now Blues have the puck. Blues going 1-on-3. Blues forward, dumps it in down low while the rest of her team changes. Bossert picks up the puck, gets pressured. Blues have possession around the corner. They cycle down low. Guzinski's the only one there. She sends that up the boards, and that goes up and out. This is going to go for icing against Culver. So couple shots on net during that power play. Culver doing a good job out shooting the Blues here, 7-1 in the second period, but score is still 0-0. Seekins works in the corner. Back over to Wilson, Harris. That gets sent down low to Chandler. Chandler backhands it to Seekins. Seekins works it up the far boards. That gets picked off by the Blues, who send it in deep. Blues trying to find room out front, but that gets deflected and that gets centered. Shot, rebound. Dangerous opportunity there. Kept out by Williams, who's been sharp. And we're going to get a penalty on the Blues for holding. So through the neutral zone. Adi Gazazada drew that penalty. And Culver back on the power play. Power play unit this time is Bossert, Williams, Kearney up front with Furch and Buzinski. Buzinski just tips that out. Culver still trying to establish position for the power play. They work on the left side. Shot in, nice shot through the screen. Blues goalie just gets a stick on that. Oh, good centering pass. Kearney still looking. Culver, shot, save, rebound. Oh, good opportunity there. Buzinski shot in. And another shot. Culver looking to reestablish again. Furch works around. Puck is still held in, but Blues recover and they bank that up and out. So Furch picks it up. She sends that up through the neutral zone to Kearney. Kearney works it. She drops it back to Bossert. Bossert, far shot, glove by the Blues. So 25 seconds left on this power play. Good rebound opportunities on that last power play. 25 seconds to work with for Esmond, who wins the faceoff back to Lou. Hard shot, that gets blocked. Lai with the recovery. Lai trying to work that back to Lou. Lou picks it back up. Lou sends it across to Fischler. Fischler back to Lou. Lou down to Lai. Lai works it down to Esmond behind the net. Esmond back to Fischler up top. Over to Esmond. Esmond back. Oh, shot. Loose. Big pile up. Nice play working it in the front. Try and get a greasy goal. We are now even strength. Even strength, face off, outside the Blues, just outside the Blues goalie. Puck goes out to neutral zone. Chandler retrieves. Back over. Esmond picks it up in the neutral zone. She has a little bit of room with Frazier. Frazier works around the right side. Hard shot on net. Big rebound. Just got to get in front for one of these big rebounds. Blues send it in weakly on net. Williams covers. 3:44 left in the second period. 0-0 game. Culver now out shooting the Blues 20-11. Blues, big shot deflected wide. Blues working behind the net. They have some space here. Good save by Williams. Nice blocker. Works up to Putnam. That gets picked off in the neutral zone. And now Putnam trying to work it in deep. Bosser gathers the puck and sends it in on the net, and Blues goalie has to cover. Sadikov with the face-off win, wins it back over to Fischler. Fischler has some room, sends it in, hits a skate, and the Blues break out quick. Blues bunch up in the middle. That gets sticked up, and that should be a penalty on the Blues. Yep. So the Blues player tried to dangle around our D and got the stick up into the face for a high sticking. Didn't quite catch who was defending there. It was either Fischler or Furch who took that stick in the face. So Culver with their third power play opportunity of this period. Esmond wins that face-off easily. Back over to Lou. Lou fakes over to Fischler. Fischler with some room. She tries to go backdoor to Lai. That works down to Esmond. Esmond spins behind the net with possession. She finds Fischler. Fischler goes for a one-timer. That gets blocked. And the Blues are going to work their way up the left side and clear. And they're going to call us for a trip. So we'll go 4-on-4, back to even strength. Face off back into the Culver zone. And there will be a 24-second differential between penalties, so Blues will have a 24-second power play once their girl gets out of the box. Esmond works it down low, 4-on-4. She crashes in, gains possession, and works it over. Oh, just misses Kearney. Good box out there by Lou defensively, and this gets bumped back down low. Kearney into pressure. Blues trying to break out. That gets intercepted, and Culver again with possession. Lou winds around, finds Kearney. Kearney sends in a backhand while we get some fresh legs on the ice. Blues work up through the neutral zone. Blues drive around the corner, bodied out, and picked up through the neutral zone by Lai. Lai picks it up with some speed. Lai around, gets caught up in the ref's skates, and Blues clear it out. Chandler with the puck. She sends it in low, but delayed offside. Blues try and work it through the neutral zone. Lai picks up the puck, and she sends it in down low. Hits the ref. And Sadikov trying to muscle it up front. That gets sent but intercepted by the Blues. Blues make a move in. Shot, save, Williams. Great blocker, save by Williams. Blues still with a chance. Blues work it behind the net. Working against. They get it up top. Shot, save, Williams. Very calm save by Williams. Not a lot of movement from her. Great position. Bossert ties up at center. Puck still working around now finally behind the net to Lou. Lou, oh, that puck gets intercepted, backhand in by the Blues, dangerous. Loose out front, still bouncing around, up in the skates of Putnam. Loose with the puck, they send it across the neutral zone and still loose, and buzzer sounds. Saved by the buzzer there. Blues had a lot of chances. So we are gonna go for an ice cut here between the second and third period. So still 0-0 at the end of 2. Shots 20-12 in favor of the Eagles. And I shall leave this on during the ice cut. And we'll be back in a few. start of the third period. Culver Eagles against the St. Louis Blues 16U. Lai gets the face-off. She works to the middle. Shoot. Wide left. She's out there with Wilson and Sadiakov. Pressure behind the Blues net. Sadiakov. And Wilson pressures there, and now the Blues try and work it out the left side. That gets intercepted, and they get pinned back into their zone. Pressure and turnover. Sadiakov gets the puck. That goes just long for her, and the Blues come up the right side. Ooh. Hard fall into the boards with, as the Blues go off sides, Wilson tangles up with the Blues player, and they make a line change. Puck worked over to Fischler. Fischler sees a little bit of room. She gets sealed off, and she dumps it in after gaining the red line. Blues work their way out, and they get it up and out. Furch getting pursued by two Blues. She works behind the net. She sends it over to the right. That gets deflected, but Culver should clear here. And they do. Esmond gets the puck in on the left side. She dances around the player. Rebound, score! Not even a rebound. Good feed by Esmond. And Culver gets a 1-0 lead here. Kearney chips in the pass from Esmond. Great play by both girls. Esmond works a puck in from the left side, goes behind the net, and sends it up front to Kearney's stick. And she just chips that up and over the shoulder of the Blues goalie. So Culver Eagles now with a 1-0 lead. 14:40 left in the third period. Messersmith drops it back to Esmond. Esmond works behind the net again. Now Messersmith, she loses the handle, and the Blues work it out, but held in by Chandler. Nice shot. Hard shot in. Esmond gets hooked down, and she gets a penalty. Esmond rewarded for driving the net on that rebound. Chandler with a nice hard slap shot that I think surprised the Blues goalie, so she left a rebound out in front for Esmond. So, minute 30-second power play for Culver. Culver wins the faceoff back to Buzinski. Buzinski over to Furch. Furch sends it in down low to Kearney. That bounces around, and that gets possession by Bosser. Bosser back to Kearney. Kearney to Bosser. Bosser sees a little space. She drives in for a give and go. Just misses, and the Blues break out with a 2-on-1. Now the Blues are going to dump that down low. Buzinski needs a little bit of help here. Tied up and gets some help from Bosser. Bosser picks up the puck. Bosser passes up to Wilson. Wilson dumps it in. Blues gain possession, but they still working to clear. They will clear here, and they send it in deep. Buzinski picks up the puck. Tries to break that up to Furch, but that gets held in. Buzinski again with the puck. She gets a little bit of room. She skates in on the right side, gains the line by herself. She drops it back. Shot, save, rebound. Still loose. Good shot on net for the rebound. And we have 10 seconds left on the power play. We need a player. Esmond in for the draw. She wins that back to Lou. Lou, oh, loses the handle there, but trying to gain possession there, and Lou still working it. She retreats back into her own zone. Good body position. Intercepted by the Blues in the neutral zone, and now they gain the line with Messersmith out there. Esmond trying to get possession, tied up in her skates. That comes out over to Lai. Lai with some space, works it across the middle. She protects the puck, sends it into Esmond. Esmond, oh, shot wide, and oh, thought that went in. That just went across the crease. Drive in by Esmond again. Shot off the helmet. Great opportunities. Lai sends it in across the middle. And that gets broken up by the Blues. Several prime opportunities for Culver to try and get a 2-0 lead, but the Blues avoid that one. That gets chipped out, and that goes for icing off of Putnam's skate behind the red line. So still 1-0. Good opportunities there for the Eagles. Fusoni gets the puck. She cycles back to Lou. Lou breaks it up the right side. That gets stepped in by the Blues. Still held in by the Blues, and now outside the zone. That gets tripled back towards the Blues net. They work it back, trying to cycle. Pinned in. Fusoni in on the forecheck with Putnam. And the Blues work their way out. That gets intercepted by Bossert along the boards. Blues pick it up and they work it out. Over to Buzinski. Buzinski back to Lou. Lou skates behind her own net. Finds Putnam. Putnam chips over to Esmond. Esmond with room. Esmond tries to shoot. Blocked. Esmond spins back around. Centering. No one in front. Harris comes charging in. Adi goes Alzada. Tries to center, picked up by the Blues out front again. Blues work their way out. They're going to wave off icing here as Chandler reverses back. That gets caught up in the skates behind the net. Seekins and Chandler working behind the net. Esmond and Chandler now. Working 2-on-2, tied up. Ref still telling them to move it. Blues go for the wraparound, but that gets cut off by Seekins, so picked up by Harris. Harris gains the line, cross the slot, gets poked off of her stick, and that gets chipped out. Harris gains possession. Harris finds Adi Gozalzada. Adi Gozalzada. Some room on the right side. She works her way around the net. Button hooks back to Bossert. Bossert, good stick work. Driving in front. Rebound. Shot. Still in front. That comes back out. Nice getting it into the zone. Going on net. Forecheck in by Lai. Lai works it up top over to Wilson. Wilson gets chopped at, and St. Louis tries to clear. They do. They work. They don't clear yet. Now they do. Blues work in 2-on-2. Defended by Fischler well into the corner. Fischler sends it up the right board, skips over Lai's stick and back behind the net. Furch sends it over, and now broken out by, Broken out by Fischler. Sent back in low. Fischler has the puck, wheels it around to the right side. To Sadiakov. Sadiakov looking for help. Frazier there. Frazier picks it up, and the Blues break out. Puck gets chipped up the right boards, and Blues go offside. 7:55 left in this third period. Culver with a 1-0 slim lead. Esmond steps in for the faceoff. Esmond wins it to herself. She breaks in with Kearney and Frazier. Blues pick it up on the right side. They chip it down low. Guzinski working in the corner. That gets picked up by Kearney now. Kearney chips that up and out. Blues recover. Frazier almost picks that off. And the Blues work it over to the right side there, where Guzinski is going to body out her player. Blues pick up the puck. Comes in, hacked at by the Blues player. Blown dead. Sandra Gwynn's favorite song being played now. Bossert takes the face off. Guzinski picks it up. She works behind the net. That gets broken up by a Blues player, but over to Putnam, who clears that out, and that gets chipped in. Oh, turnover. Ooh, dangerous. Great save by Williams, staying alert there. Turnover in our zone, and the Blues got a good tip-in shot on Williams, but she's quick over to cover. Bosser wins it back behind the Culver net. She gets it over to Messersmith. That gets tipped out to Fusoni. Eagles hard in on the forecheck. That gets up to the Blues. Blues counterattack. Seekins is going to get called for a check. Blues player lost her helmet on that one. 6:34 left in this third period as Culver goes on the PK. Seekins to the box. Blues power play, their second power play of the game. Culver holding a 1-0 lead. Blues trying to work it around the top. They work it over to the left side. Bring it back up top. Lie. Block on the path. Blues shoot. Save Williams. Blues still trying to find a spot. That gets worked over to the right side. Shot, rebound, chipped out. Doesn't get through. Lie up at the top. That shot hits the Blues player actually. Works around to the left side. Blues shoot, low, Williams, save. Blues work around the top again. Shot deflected by Wilson. Shot wide left. Blues work it down low to the right. They find room up top. That gets blocked by Lai. 5 seconds left on this power play. Shot, block. Wrap around. Stop by Messersmith. Messersmith has some room. Messersmith in with speed. Driving the net. Shot. Rebound. Another shot. Good opportunities by Messersmith. Esmond now picks up the puck behind the net. She goes for the wrap. And the Blues pick up the puck. Even strength now. 4:38 left in the game. Blues come across the right. They send it in harmlessly. Williams pokes that aside. Esmond chips that up and out. Good forecheck by Adi Gozalzada. She gets it over to Esmond. Esmond gets taken down. No call. Work back to the point to Lou. Lou sees little room on the right side. She shoots hard. Ooh, I don't know if that caught the post or the outside. In any case, Culver with the puck. Harris works it back to Lou. Lou sends it in. That gets intercepted by the Blues, and they work it up. They misfire. Buzinski sends it back across. Blues now chip it in. Buzinski works the other side to Adi Gozalzada. She tries to chip around. That gets sent in deep. Buzinski sends it back up. Bounces out of the zone. And Lou goes back to retrieve. 3:28 left, third period. Culver up 1-0. Puck comes up to Putnam. Putnam, that goes off of her skate, and the Blues gain the zone. Blues still with the puck. That gets tipped out by Lou. Now, worked around. Blues still with the puck. And now, Culver breaks out 2-on-1 if they hurry. Putnam with the puck with Fusoni driving. Rebound. Big rebound. Fusoni just ahead of it, actually. Fusoni with another shot. That gets blocked, and that gets chipped out of the zone, cleared by the Blues, and they send it in deep. Retrieved by Furch. Furch looks at her options. She gets it up to Putnam. Putnam over to Fusoni. That's off of her skate. Blues intercept. Blues in. Nice. Save. Williams sharp on those two opportunities by the Blues as they get a backhand shot in and then rebound in on the right side. Face off to the left of Williams in the Culver end. Messersmith and Chandler out with Esmond's line. Blues win the faceoff up to the top. Blues looking for a lane. They get it over to the right side and almost intercepted, but Blues still working for a shot. Blues have pulled their goalie, so they do have an extra attacker. Shot in, deflected, and rebound up. Blues shoot. Dangerous rebound. Save, Williams. 1:59 left. Culver holding a 1-0 lead. And Blues have pulled their goalie. 6-on-5 here. Sadiakov takes the draw. Blues win it. They shoot, deflected to the corner. They work it behind the net. Back up to the top. Wilson blocks it with her skate. Hard around, not out. Circles back. Buzinski battling behind the net. Worked up to the top here. Blues work it out to the top. They send it in. Oh. Tip. Goal. worked it around to that left point, sent it in, and got a deflection in. Redirected to beat Williams. Tie this game at 1. We're back to 5-on-5. Culver picks up the puck. Fischler circles back. Sends that up to Esmond. Esmond gets hooked. No call. Should have been something there, but play on. Fischler regains the puck. Looking for that breakout. Sends that up. Has room. Frazier with the puck. She gets across the line. She drives in. Sends it in on net. Esmond there in the corner. Battling. Kearney gets that up to the point. Has some room. Shot. Rebound. No one in front though. And the Blues pick up the puck behind the net. They send it out. And they will clear. Intercepted by Bosser. She has to wait to get onside. She sends it in deep. 14 seconds left. Blues work it up the left side. That gets intercepted again by Bosser. This one's going to end in a tie with 0 seconds. So, tough tie as the Eagles got an early goal in the third period. And then the Blues score with about a minute and a half left. Refs are talking. They're talking about a overtime right now. A little bit of discussion here, and they're deciding. Looks like we will play. Girls are not shaking hands yet, so looks like we have some extra time on the clock for either a shootout or OT. We are going to go 3v3. 3-minute overtime. Bossert, Fischler, and Lou out for the 3v3. Blues gain possession. They work it out, and Bossert with the puck. She chips that up and out. Blues have possession. Blues with the puck on the left side. That one, Lou defends nicely. Bosser with the puck. She gets it up to Fischler. Fischler gains the zone. Shot. Wide right. Lou with it. Still with it. Shot. Fischler. One time. Save. Blues regain possession. Blues work their way in. Shot, save Williams. And Williams will cover. 1:56 left. Esmond, Messersmith, and Lai out for OT. Gets deflected, intercepted by Messersmith. In, just out of the zone. Blues get a 2-on-1 working. Get that across. Shot goes wide. Blues regain possession. Blues still with the puck. Puck goes down low. By working behind the net. By still working. Blues get that up. Almost lost that possession. Goes back down low. Esmond with the intercept. Esmond with some room. Finds Lai. Lai gets taken out. And penalty on the Blues. 1 minute. They should have more seconds than that, but they stopped the clock with 57 seconds left on overtime as Culver will get a 4-on-3 here. Bosser, Messersmith, Sadiakov, and Lou out on this 4-on-3 in overtime. Blues win that faceoff. They look to clear. They send it up the boards. Lou holds it in. She sends that across to Sadiakov. Sadiakov looking for options. Shot wide left. Recovered by Lou. Lou backs it out. Drives the net. Sends it in. Rebound. Bosser picks it up. She looks. That gets intercepted. Lou holds that back to Bosser. Just out of reach. And Blues look to clear off the glass. Held in by Sadiakov. Sadiakov works that back. And Blues still looking to clear. This time they still do not. Sadiakov gets it. She works it in. Shot. Blocked. Blues work that behind their own net. 7 seconds left. Shot. Lou. Blocked. And time's going to run out here. So this game looks like it's going to end in a 1-1 tie. So game 1 with St. Louis in the books. We'll be back here in the practice rink later this afternoon, and then tomorrow we'll be back in this big nice rink again. So thanks for watching.